Okay, right, so this week I'm going to do as a bit of a revision and catch up week. Okay, so I'm going to do a few videos on, some things that you might have done in the past and see how you do on them. Okay, so I'm going to split it into three sections. Okay, basics will be the first bit, very basic questions. Then the next section I'm going to call revision questions. And then the last two questions I'm going to do are going to be challenge questions. All right. So pause now, give these a go, and then I'll go through the answers. Right. Okay. So first one, we don't like dividing by a decimal. So what we've got to do is try and make it not a decimal. Okay. That's going to become a whole number. How can we make that a whole number? Well, shift it two places across, times it by 100. Shift this two places across as well. Whatever you do to one side, you've got to do to the other. So that becomes 4,800 divided by 6. Okay, so 48 divided by 6 is, of course, 8. So 4,800 divided by 6 will be 800. You might be thinking, you're dividing. Why has it got bigger? That's what happens when you divide by a little tiny decimal like that. Okay. Next up, we're dividing. Oh no, I'm going to this one next. Sorry, question 2. We're going to that one next. Okay. So first off, I would say find out what 1% is. Okay, 1% we find by dividing it by 100. Okay, or divide by 10, divide by 10. Again, both works. Okay, so divide by 10, you get 32.4. Divide by 10 again, you get 3.24. 3.24. So half a percent would be half of 1%. So divide it by 2, and you're going to get, so half of 3.24. So that should be, so half of 24 would of course be 12. Half of, imagine that's 300. Would be 150. Add them together, you're going to get 1.62. Let's just quickly check that on our calculator because I don't want to look like a fool. So 0.5% percent of 324. 1.62. Boom. Okay. Next one. We're dividing fractions, but they are mixed fractions, of course. Let's turn that into an improper fraction. So, big times bottom, then add the top. So 2 times 5 is 10. Add the 2, so that becomes 12 out of 5. Big times bottom, 1 times 3 is 3. Add the 1, it'll be 4 thirds. Okay. Now remember, when we are dividing fractions, there are 3 letters that you need to remember. K, C, F. Not KFC, KCF. Okay. So we keep this one the same. We change that to a multiply, and we flip this one. Okay. And then we just do top by top, bottom by bottom. 12 times 3 is, of course, 36. 5 times 4 is 20. Okay. If we were to simplify this, we could divide them, well, both in the 4 times table. Divide them by 4, we're going to get 9 over 5. Okay. That doesn't simplify anymore. If we want to put it back into a mixed fraction, if the question asks for it as a mixed fraction, mixed number, whatever you want to call it, how many 5s go into 9? 1 with a remainder of 4. Okay, 336 as a product of primes. I'm going to need another board for this. Do our factor trees. 336 at the top. What can we do? What could we divide by first? It's an even number. Let's half it, shall we? So half of 336 would give you 150, 18, 168. I hope. We could divide by 2 again. So half of 160 is 84. So we're going to get 2 and 84. Notice how I'm circling the 2's. Okay. Remember, you circle the 2's because they are prime numbers. Half it again. Half it again. What can you divide 21 by? You could have 3 and 7. Both of those are prime numbers. So we've got 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 to the power of 4 times 3 times 7. Okay? There are your answers for the first bit. Okay, so here's your next set of questions. These are a bit of revision. Pause it now to give them a go. Okay, right, first one, 0.000607 in standard form. Okay, first of all, this is tiny standard form, okay? We've got to count, so where's our first significant figure? Where's our first main proper digit? It's that 6, okay? And we've got to count the number of places before it. 1, 2, 3, 4 before, so it's going to be times by 10 to the power of minus 4. And remember, the first bit can't be it can't be anything more than 10, or 10 or more I should say, or anything less than 1. Okay, so we've got to make a number out of this that's between 1 and 10. Okay, can't be 60.7, can't be 607, so it's got to be 6.07. Okay, because that is between 1 and 10. Next up, we've got to solve this. Okay, what's the easiest thing to get rid of first? Easiest thing to get rid of first would be that 1. Take away 1, we're going to get 2x over 3 equals 20. Now what can we get rid of? It doesn't actually matter which way round we get rid of these. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that 3 first. That's a divide by 3. So times by 3, times by 3, we're going to get 2x equals 60. So 2 times something equals 60. Divide by 2, you're going to get x equals 30. Okay, next up, speed is 70 miles an hour. Time is 135 minutes. What's the distance? Remember, that speed is in miles per hour. Okay, that is 135 minutes. I don't like that as 135 minutes. Let's turn that into hours. Okay, so how many hours is in that? So 60 minutes is 1 hour. 120 minutes is 2 hours. What's our remainder? Is 15 minutes. What fraction of an hour is 15 minutes? Okay, if you look at your clock, you'll notice that it is 15 minutes is a quarter of an hour. So this is 2 1/4 hours. Okay, now you might remember our speed, distance, time triangle. Okay, D goes up there, S goes there, T goes there. So we're trying to find out what the distance is. So we're going to do speed times time. Okay, so distance is speed 70 times 2 1/4. Well, 70 times 2 would be 140. Now 70 times 1/4. What is 1/4 of 70? So half it you'll get 35. Half it you'll get 17.5. Okay. So what did we say? So the 2 hours. So in 2 hours would be 140 because we've done 70 times 2. In quarter of an hour, what did I say? 17.5. Add them together, you're going to get 157.5 miles it'll be, because it's miles per hour. Okay, this one, find the area of that. Well, to find the area of a whole circle, you do pi r squared. Okay, but of course there's a right angle there, so it's a quarter of a circle. So you just got to do pi times 12 squared and then divide it by 4. Okay, I'm going to do it the calculator way. So pi times 12 squared divided by 4. See how this comes out as 30. Well, it's given me the non-calculator way of the answer of doing it, but push SD, we're going to get 113.1 centimeters squared. Okay, there are the answers to this middle section. Okay, going to put up 2 challenge questions now. Okay, right, final 2 questions. These are challenge questions. Bear in mind this is a regular pentagon. Okay, pause the video, give them a go. Right, answers to this one. This one we've got to factorize. Okay, now if you factorise this one, it's actually going to look like this with two sets of brackets. Okay, so if you remember, to factorise this type of thing, you need to find something, two numbers that add to make 13 and multiply to make 30. Okay, you might have figured out that they are 3 and 10, and we're trying to solve this. Okay, so that means we're trying to find out what x is. Now remember, this times this will equal 0. Well, what happens when you multiply something and you get 0? That means one of them has to be 0. So that means either x plus 3 equals 0 or x plus 10 will equal 0. If you solve these, you'll get x is minus 3 and x is minus 10. Two answers on that one. Okay, this one, find the bearing of B from A. So you're stood on A and you're looking north. Okay, you're trying to find out the angle there. Remember the three rules of bearings? Three figures, clockwise and from north. Okay, from north we're trying to find out what that angle there is. Okay, you might also notice that is the exterior angle of this regular pentagon. To find the exterior angle of any shape, you get 360, or any regular shape I should say, and divide by the number of sides. So 360 divided by 5, for some reason I can't do that in my head, I think it's 72, but I'm not entirely sure. Divided by 5, yeah, it's 72. Okay, and now remember, three figures, so we've got to put 0, 7, 2. Okay, now the next bit is a bit more complicated. Okay, if we're trying to find out the bearing of A from B, we're now stood on B. We're looking north and we're trying to find out what this angle here is. Okay, now we know that that is 72. Now if we carry it on, that is corresponding with that, so that's 72 as well. Okay, ignore the rest of the shape, don't need to worry about it. This bit here alone is 180 degrees. So if we're going from north all the way around looking at A, we've got to do 72, add the 180, that will give you 252. So the final one is 252. And that's your work done for today. Well done. Thank you very much. If you remember, that was the answer to number 9. These are the answers to number 10. Thank you very much.